Even sharing it right now like brings back the emotions that I felt because it was very difficult. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but
It's okay.
hey guys.
Hi. How you doing?
It's been a minute.
Haven't sat here in a while.
You doing okay? You doing all right?
We're doing a sit down today. We're very proud of ourselves.
Very proud. Very proud. So there's a lot going on, guys. There's a lot that's been happening, and we're going to just tell you guys why we've been away. Real quick, if you are first now meeting us, this is a real conversation. So real quick, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna tell you all the things.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah. All right, so there has been a lot of updates. For you guys that do not know,
We're pregnant.
we are pregnant.
We have our number 2 baby coming. The little
Yes.
tum-tum is poking out. It like legitimately is poking out. We are
You
how
guys not
pregnant?
see this?
How pregnant are we?
We
By the
are-
time this posts,
We'll be 11 weeks.
11
So 11 weeks.
weeks.
A little early. I feel like it's like, kind of still in the first trimester and usually share during the second trimester, but we felt it was a good time. We felt it was a good time to share.
I was tired of not sharing. Let's put it that way.
And honestly, this baby is definitely showing a little
She
earlier.
look a little pregnant.
It's showing. This baby's showing. As much as this has been like such an exciting moment, we've been away because this has been honestly like one of the hardest times of our life. We've had some very hard decisions to make, situations that came up, and during that time we really had to focus on each other.
Yeah, and it was also one of those things that we didn't want to share in the moment because we were processing and we were going through a journey that it's okay for people to share that in the midst of that journey. For us, we needed to be with each other.
Yeah.
We needed
and
to
we
get through
showed
together.
it in shorts, and we kind of shared. If you guys haven't seen our shorts, we're going to put the link down there. But to have like this sit down, this kind of conversation, we absolutely wanted to be in this kind of space, in the space that we're in right now.
Yeah. So let's rewind about 4 or 5 months ago, somewhere in there. Lexi and I were in the middle of IVF. So IVF this round, we've told you in previous videos, has been a lot more cumbersome, difficult, full of a lot more hurdles and obstacles that we had to overcome than the first time when we had Asa. The first time was emotional enough.
Yeah.
But then going through this, we started this process, I want to say it was like in January, and it has been up to this point where we are finally now pregnant, which all worth it.
Yeah.
But
It was a lot.
it was a lot.
Yeah. We're going to try to explain this as quickly as possible. For those of you who may not know, this is actually my 3rd pregnancy. My 2nd pregnancy, we were in the middle of IVF. So we were getting ready to do our egg transfer, and then we ended up getting sick, and it caused us to delay the egg transfer, and somehow in between that, we ended up getting naturally pregnant. Now, we have had fertility issues for 5 years, so it was a big deal. I mean, the stories, when we would tell people, we could just see like immediate tears, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I mean, we cried. It was such a big moment for us. I found out at 7 weeks, in between 6 to 7 weeks that we weren't going to have the child. The baby did not have a heartbeat, and we had to do a D&C. That was really hard. Even sharing it right now like brings back the emotions that I felt because it was very difficult. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but
It's okay.
I am in a better place, but thinking about it always brings emotions to me because it was such a hard period in our lives. Understanding each other, understanding, why that happened. It's hard, but
It was a moment of absolute victory where after not being able to conceive naturally for 5 years, and again, for those of you that don't know or are new to our channel, it was male factor infertility. So that was something that was wrong with me that was preventing us from having children naturally. To now be able to say that we conceived, There is a baby in her womb. Naturally, it was an absolute victory for us. It was a spiritual victory. To her point, there was so much celebration, so much confusion in a good way of how did this happen? How did God do this? Like, God made a miracle happen. To have all of that within a few weeks completely taken away and stripped away. We're going to talk more about the emotional, spiritual process that we had to go through because of that, and a lot of the aftermath. We're not going to do that in this video.
And how it affected our marriage. Like, that was a huge thing, and we're gonna talk about that. But that's like a long video. It's a whole separate video.
Maybe two.
But yeah, it was very hard for us, and we needed time to even get to this place where we were even ready to do the egg transfer, because I didn't want to bring this hurt and just immediately do something just because I wanted to do it. Like, I wanted to make sure that I was in a healthy space. Not to say that I was perfect, but that we were both in a healthy space.
We were also confused about what God's will was. Like, how this situation interrupted the IVF process. We're like, God, what do you want? What are you trying to do with this? Like, what does this mean? And we didn't want to jump into a decision without hearing from him or speaking to him. We brought in our pastor, we brought in our family, we gave it a lot more prayer about how to proceed. And when we got to a place of peace, that's when we decided to say, okay, by that point we had embryos that were frozen. We said, okay, we can finish this process.
Yeah, we didn't want to move forward without that. I think that was a huge thing that I really want to reiterate, because so many people just move to next point just because we wanted to. But is my body, am I mentally there? Am I spiritually there? Like, I wanted to just really work on myself to get to a healthier space, because I knew I was not in a good space.
But I think that's across the board in our lives too, not just even like this situation or large situations. When we think rationally something makes sense, a lot of times we'll just do it. And we've said in previous videos, that way of thinking has really harmed our marriage and our lives, even financially, because I used to think like that. Like, if it makes sense, I'm just going to decide. I didn't take it to God. I didn't bring it to him to help give us wisdom and how to navigate. So when something of this magnitude happened, I was going to step back, and Lexi was going to step back and say, even though we have the embryos frozen, we're not just going to jump into that next phase until we hear, because it's too big. It's too big of a decision. This is a life-altering decision.
Whatever timeline that we have, like, we just need to stop it and see what the heck is going on. Once we realized and prayed about it, we felt like we were in a healthier space. We had a lot of conversations. We spoke with our counselor. Like, we decided we were going to do the egg transfer, and we felt really good about it. We felt at peace about it.
Yeah, I definitely think there was a feeling of like accomplishment of like, okay, to your point, relief that we're finally here.
Yeah. I
don't know if we had excitement though.
I think the word that I have was relief. I felt relief. I don't know. I don't know if it was fully like excitement. I think it was more of like, okay, we finally got to this point, because we've been trying to get to this point since like January. We've been trying to, because our last IVF, it was very quick, done, finished. This was a longer process. So for us to get there, we were I felt like we were very emotional.
Very emotional, for sure.
And I think that we were just trying to stay positive. If you hear me say embryo, I get, egg, embryo, I get confused. But yeah, once we waited 2 weeks, we did a personal viewing.
We will never wait until the doctor's official test. We're like, no.
We want to do that ourselves.
We're getting a pregnancy test.
Yes. We saw that we were pregnant.
Yeah.
Which was good, but I think the biggest part was when we did go and we did the ultrasound and we heard the heartbeat. That was beautiful.
The ultrasound was like the vindication of the first of the moment you had where you went to the ultrasound, you didn't hear the heartbeat.
Yeah, it felt redemptive. It felt really redemptive, because not hearing that heartbeat, I can tell you, like, the excitement that we had for that second baby, like, we were so excited. We were so excited to hear that heartbeat. Like, actually, that was the one appointment that Brian couldn't go on with the second baby. Brian could not go on, and he tried so hard to make it, but he couldn't go. And I was like, oh, it's fine. We're just hearing, the heartbeat. I'll FaceTime you. And some reason we couldn't FaceTime each other, and then I was with my mom, and then to not hear that heartbeat was like, it was very traumatizing, extremely traumatizing. So to hear this baby's heartbeat was extremely redemptive. Oh my gosh.
There's a heartbeat,
All
baby.
right, 125 looks perfect.
You could actually hear our, like, us
Breath.
breathing, like we were holding our breath, and then to hear the heartbeat, we were like, and even the doctors, like, they were very much like, you know, they knew the story and they knew our backstory, so they were very much like, you know, we're gonna hear it today, like we're gonna be okay. That was a blessing, but this has been a little bit of a roller coaster since we've had the baby.
There has been nothing about this process from start to finish that has been like Aza's process.
No, it's been a journey, and even up until like the last couple of weeks, we had a situation right before we left for Tennessee. And this is part of the reason why we waited to share this long that we were pregnant, is just because there were so many like ups and downs, and we needed to feel peace about it. Right before we left for Tennessee, we were supposed to leave at 3 o'clock.
In the morning. At 12 a.m., I woke up and there, TMI, long story short, like I was bleeding pretty heavily and I didn't know why. And I felt extremely crampy. And so honestly, we were scared. We were a little scared. At that point, when something like that happens, I get extremely quiet. And I get extremely reserved. I don't even want to talk about my feelings. I don't want to talk about anything. I just want to know what's happening, because I honestly don't want to lean any type of direction. I just want to know what's going on. And so it gets really like quiet, really serious for me usually when those moments happen. Mm-hmm. The first time we got pregnant, something somewhat similar happened like this, and I kind of freaked out. Like I had a moment of, I wouldn't call it panic, but it was like,
it was strong.
It was strong because I was thinking through everything that we had went through, and then the idea of losing that, it was almost too much for me in the moment. And I had a moment, and I realized that I wasn't able to support Lexi because of where I was at in that moment. And I never wanted to do that again. I never wanted to go through that again like I did. I wanted to be in a better place. So this time around, though, when it happened, I think I just like shifted my entire mentality. And
it's not to say that you can't have your feelings. I feel like those
Yeah.
are valid, but just try to like, you know.
I had my feelings of like nervousness
Yeah.
and just like hearts beating fast and
Yeah.
like, what the heck is going on, you know? But this time I was like, I'm refusing to think about anything else but this baby being okay. And there's going to be a beautiful, healthy heartbeat. God has us, like, this is his will. We heard from him. Tried to like do whatever I could to help Lexi feel that. And Lexi was just quiet. She was in her spot. She was in her space.
Yeah, I have to get kind of in my zone so I don't freak out. You know, long story short, there was a piece of the sac that kind of like tore apart a little bit, and it was only 10% of the sac, and they said it'll heal back up, but it causes blood clots and it causes blood to come out. So, you know, we heard the baby's heartbeat and we were fine, but it was definitely a scary moment. But in the weird way, it kind of just made me feel good. Like I felt good about this baby. I felt like, all right, there is just so much story with this baby. I'm just believing that this is going to end well. Like I feel it. When we came back home, we listened to worship music and we just worshiped God for probably 30 minutes before we left. Like we just cried and worshiped and just prayed, and we were like, you know, we really believe that this is gonna work out. Like this is gonna be okay.
And I wanted to shout out my parents because, you know, they're still living with us. Their home is almost done after.
Almost done.
But they're still living with us, and they have been through this entire journey with us, like truly every step of the way. They've seen our emotions, they've seen our pain, our hurt, and they have supported us more than we could ever ask for or want. Like they have been in prayer for us. Even that morning, they were just praying, and we knew they were praying and supporting. We got back, and they're rejoicing with us and worshiping with us, and it's such a special thing to have that backing when you're going through something that's so emotionally exhausting.
I mean, I can't thank them enough. I love Brian's family. They have been just such a huge support. So we have so much more to share. If you, so what we were thinking about doing is, if you have questions about this journey, about, you know, me and Brian, about what's happened with us, anything that goes with pregnancy, IVF, all the things, we're going to
Comments.
put it in the comments because we're going to be doing a Q&A and also talk about just how this affected our marriage and how we overcame it.
So we hope that this gives a little bit of context as to why we have been a little absent with this
Yeah.
with the sit downs.
Yes.
This couch feels great, so I think we're gonna do a few more of these
Yes.
again. And we're excited to share more, talk more through these things, and hear what you all want to know.
We love you guys, and we will be on here more. This is not just
You
one
pinky
of those.
promise?
Yes, I'm gonna say you pinky promise.
All right, it's done. It's
done.
sealed. It's
We're
happening
gonna
now.
be on here more, so stay tuned and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will talk to you later. We love you guys so much. Thank you for sticking with us all this time. We appreciate it.
Love y'all.
Bye.